Hey everyone, welcome back to CK Cycles. Well, I've really enjoyed riding my new to me 1989 Honda NX-250, but I have a problem with my bike. It does not have a rear luggage rack on it. I took a look at partzilla.com to find that Honda did offer a rear rack for this bike. I'm not sure if it came stock, but my bike does not have one. So I hopped on the old eBay to see what I could find, and boom, here's one of those racks. But at a hefty $250+ plus shipping to get one to me, I did not want to make that purchase. So I decided with my new 3D printer I would take a stab at designing my own rear luggage rack for the NX250. Here I am using Tinkercad online to design one of my first pieces that I'm going to use as a prototype fitment for the luggage rack vertical supports on the NX250. This piece here was used to test if I had the proper spacing between the mounting holes on the NX250 and to also check to see if my offset is correct since the two mounting holes are not in the same plane. This first piece was measured, designed, and printed for the right mounts on the bike. As you can see here, it fit pretty good and I was pretty satisfied with compensating for the offset. Now I thought that it would be same over on the left side of the bike, but I found that the length was actually about 2 millimeters shorter, and so my left mount would have to be a little bit different than my right. With this information in mind, I went right for it and designed a full bracket. I thought this looked pretty good, but after getting it on the bike and taking a look, I saw that there was some problems. There's a lot of empty space in the middle of the bracket, which I think might impact the structural integrity, and the angle of the front of the bracket did not match the angle of the rear seat, and I thought this would catch an eye and not look very good on the bike. So it was time to move on to something else. I decided to go backwards in my design process a little bit, and I printed up two of these pieces. One for the right side, one for the left side. Once again, I wanted to make sure I had my hole spacing and my offsets correct, and these pieces included two vertical arms. I used these two vertical arms to measure between the two of them just to see if things were square and to see if my width started to look pretty good for the rack. This piece was the next phase of my design, and I thought I was getting closer. I should note here that I'm limited in the size that I can print. I'm limited to about 200 millimeters by 200 millimeters due to the model of my printer. And so I knew that I would need to add a little bit more length onto this for the full vertical piece for the luggage rack. I printed this extension as a test to see if these two pieces together would work, and I think this is a pretty good length. I'd have to figure out how to attach these two, and so I thought a tendon would be nice and then epoxy them together. This also should be noted here, I wasn't happy with the angle of this test piece that meets along the seat. It still was catching my eye. Time to head back and refine my design to get it to where I want it to be. This turned out to be one of the final phases of my design, and I was pretty happy with how it turned out. I was able to design the tendon on, which fit very nicely into this extension piece. Those measurements were a little tricky to figure out. A little epoxy here to glue the extension on the tendon, and this prototype is starting to come together. As you can see here, I have both the left and right vertical supports in place. These are prototypes. They're printed with 10% fill. They're very lightweight and could probably easily be broken. I'm going to have to seriously consider what sort of filament I print the end product with. But for testing, these are about perfect. In my next video, I will move on to measurement design and prototyping of the base plate for this luggage rack. And then in my third video, I will move on to final printing and testing to see how it turns out. This is Chris for CK Cycles. We'll see you later.